March 27, 1995, a peaceful spring morning in Milan, Maurizio Gucci, the head of the Italian fashion luxury brand Gucci, arrived at the company's headquarters as usual. While he was walking the steps to his office, he was shot 3 times in the back and 1 in the head. Maurizio died on the spot. After years of investigation, it was discovered that the murderer was none other than his ex-wife, Patrizia Reggiani, aka Lady Gucci herself. Maurizio was born on September 26, 1948 in Florence, Italy. Both of his parents were actors and his grandfather was the acclaimed fashion designer, Guccio Gucci, the founder of Gucci itself. Maurizio had been working with the company since teenager as a package boy. In his early 20s, Maurizio attended a high society party in Milan where he met Reggiani, an Italian lady, and was attracted to her beauty. Reggiani was born in the same year as Maurizio in northern Italy. Her mother was a dishwasher and her father was a truck driver. Maurizio and Reggiani soon got into a relationship and planned to get married. The marriage was opposed greatly by Maurizio's father, Rodolfo Gucci, who saw Reggiani as a gold digger. Nevertheless, the pair got married in 1972, but Rodolfo was absent from the wedding. After that, Rodolfo tried to kick Maurizio out of the family business, but that did not stop them from having a lavish lifestyle. From trips to private islands, buying a penthouse, a chalet to a 64 meters wooden yacht named the Creole, they had it all. At one time, they became the press's favorite couple, and Reggiani was nicknamed Lady Gucci. With the arrival of their 2 daughters years later, Alessandra and Allegra Gucci, Maurizio's reconciled with Rodolfo, and their relationship eventually got better. Things changed drastically when Rodolfo passed away in 1983. Maurizio became the chairman of Gucci after inheriting 50% of the company from his father, and Reggiani on the other hand became his chief advisor. Maurizio then began his years of legal battle with his uncles, who were the stakeholders of the company, to solidify his position as chairman. His uncle, Aldo Gucci, and cousin, Paolo Gucci, accused him of forging his father's signature to evade taxes. Maurizio was then convicted for tax evasion, but the charge was then cleared. All these feuds and conflict took a huge toll on his family. During this time Maurizio started to neglect his family, and the marriage started to break down. He stopped listening to Reggiani's advice on running the company, and was desperate to restore the Gucci's fame as a prestigious luxury brand after several setbacks. One day, Maurizio packed his bags and left the family after he got tired and annoyed with Reggiani constantly meddling with the company affairs. He told his daughters he was only going for a business trip in Florence, a trip that he would only come back after a few years. While Maurizio and Reggiani's love was fading away, Maurizio found a new girlfriend, Paola Franchi. Franchi was Maurizio's childhood friend who attended his wedding with Reggiani in 1972. Both being unhappy with their marriage, Franchi and Maurizio sought comfort at each other. In 1992, Reggiani was diagnosed with brain tumor. Even though she successfully removed the tumor, Maurizio did not show any emotional support. It was said that Maurizio had only sent her flowers after the surgery, instead of visiting her at the hospital. Under Maurizio's control, the Gucci empire was losing millions after millions. Ultimately, he decided to sell his shares in the company somewhere between 120 to 170 million to an investment company based in Bahrain, marking an end to the Gucci family's control of the brand. Maurizio became extremely wealthy and was planning to get married with Franchi after divorcing Reggiani. Even though Maurizio and Reggiani were separated, their divorce proceeding went on for almost a decade. On the other side, Reggiani was becoming resentful towards Maurizio after losing her fame and status as a Gucci, and started to send threatening voicemails to Maurizio, and on one occasion she can be heard saying, "For you, hell is yet to come." Motivated by hatred and jealousy, Reggiani began to hatch a plan to get rid of Maurizio. She enlisted the help from Pino Oriema, a sorcerer and a friend, to look for a killer. Pino moved in with Reggiani in 1994 to write a book about Reggiani's relationship with Maurizio, because Reggiani had trouble recalling certain events or things after the brain surgery. There are credited Ivano Savioni, who acted as mediator between Reggiani and Pina, Orazio Sacala, who planned the assassination, and Benedetto Cirolo, the killer himself. And on that fateful day, Maurizio was taken away from the world. Reggiani was one of the suspects involved in the killing, since she has not been keeping her resentment and hate towards Maurizio to herself for the past few years. But the police focused their investigations on Maurizio's enemies in business, and also the other members of the Gucci family, because of their beef and disloyalties. For 2 years, the investigation was going nowhere, until one day, in 8 January 1997, the head of police received an anonymous call that would eventually uncover the whole plot. Savioni had slipped and bragged about his involvement in the assassination, while drinking at a local bar. After the tip, the police wasted no time in arresting all the accomplices. Everyone pointed their finger to Reggiani as the mastermind of the murder, even though Reggiani maintained her innocence. It was said that Reggiani had ordered the murder to be done quickly to prevent Maurizio and Franci from getting married, and to make sure that her daughters did not lose their right of inheritance. Reggiani claimed that it was Pina who had planned the murder without her knowledge, and demanded money from her after the killing is done. One of the evidences found was Reggiani's diary, where she wrote the word paradisos, an Italian word for paradise, at the day of Maurizio's murder. Reggiani disputed the evidence and claimed that it was just a name for her new villa. But she did confess feeling relief after Maurizio's death, and said, "I don't think of myself as innocent, I think of myself as not guilty. But in the not guilty I have to admit I have made too many mistakes." In the end, the jury was not convinced by Reggiani's story. She was convicted of ordering the murder of Maurizio, and was sentenced to 29 years in prison. On the other hand, Pina received 25 years sentence, and Benedetto got life sentence. After the conviction, Reggiani was no longer Lady Gucci, and now the press had renamed her as the Black Widow. To overturn the conviction, Reggiani's daughters argued that it was the brain tumor that was affecting Reggiani's ability to act rationally. One of them even studied law to get Reggiani out of prison. In 2011, Reggiani was offered a chance of getting a parole in exchange of her finding a job, but she instantly turned down the offer, as she had not worked her entire life. She was then released in 2016, and began to work as a design consultant. One of the first few things that she did after getting out was, of course, luxury shopping. After she was released, Allegra and Alessandra tried to stop her from being granted the annuity that Maurizio promised her prior to his death, but both eventually failed. According to an interview in 2014, Reggiani would go back to Gucci if she was given the chance, because she considers herself to be the most Gucci of them all, and the company needs her. Today, Reggiani is still known for her cruel murder of Maurizio, and her famous quote, "It's better to cry in a Rolls Royce than be happy on a bicycle." That's it for today's video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.